Peace, family. So I'm back with another one. Today what I wanted to do is I wanted to talk to my chosen ones about moving in silence is not possible when you're a spiritual being having a human experience. Your actions are extremely loud. Your actions are loud. My actions are loud. Our actions are fucking loud. So what brought me to this subject today was while I was out here at this location, I seen something written while I was meditating, and it was saying something about, just finding God, which is understandable, whatever word or term people are using, it doesn't harm me any. But it made me realize, there's a lot of quotes and sayings and teachings of beings telling other beings to move in silence. So in order to move in silence, right, you have to understand what is being loud, because loud would be the opposite of silent. So I was diving in. I was just like, all right, what could I use as a simple example to kind of come in comparison? And of course, there's always sports. Football is a silent game, but the play and the actions are extremely loud. You can have 11 players over here and 11 players right here. The only time they are really communicating is right before they call the play, and then after that, everybody is in their zone, and it's their job to do their jobs. Their actions are speaking. Your silence is really just your throat chakra. When I think of the matrix terms of silence, I think of my throat chakra. Okay, when they say move in silence in their terminology, they mean don't use my throat chakra. But that's all that really is just not expressing verbally what you're doing, what you have going on, when your actions are already gonna be showing that. So I always thought about that, even when I see some of the spiritual teachers and other people mimicking other people's information. It's like, you gotta do a deep dive yourself. You know what I'm saying? So, everybody keeps saying, move in silence, move in silence, you should move in silence. Your actions are extremely loud, so it's not really possible for you to move in silence. The only thing that's actually possible is for you to not verbalize your actions. But outside of that, the things you are doing and the way you're growing, it's being shown. That's like planting an apple tree, putting in all the work in it, and then not seeing nothing, no fruits or nothing come from it. That's not how the universe is set up. You know what I'm saying? And once we start being able to get to a space to where we could break down some of these word spells and understand some of this trigonometry that's going on out here. Fuck trigonometry, it is trigonometry out here. You know what I'm saying? You really have to dive in and understand what is AZ to the square root of 5 over the Pythagorean theorem, divided by, multiply it by. It's like, once you've been doing this for a while though, those problems become easy. It's like when you move up, you learn your addition, subtraction first, and you get your multiplication and division next. And then they hand you all the trigonometry afterwards, you know what I'm saying? But prior to that, you learning the basics of what you need to know, So that's the same thing as understanding these words are spells and spells are real. So just because somebody's telling you in a nice soft tone and the settings and everything looks sweet and aromatic and nice and sexy and shit, they should already understand that your actions are extremely loud. We are spiritual beings. We don't have to use our throat chakra at all. And we know enough beings, and there's enough beings out here right now who are muted. They are not allowed to use their throat chakra due to, their spiritual situation or a physical accident that altered it. You know what I'm saying? But outside of that, we should be aware. Your actions are extremely loud. You don't have to tell somebody you're not fucking with them. Once I stop texting you and calling you and checking on your social medias or tapping in with the people around you or doing any of those things, that's extremely loud to me. Somebody could be like, yo, and come, I don't want to say yo, say somebody just came up and start verbally assaulting me and then put their hands on me. And I put my hands on them and I never said a word. My actions are speaking for how I want to interpret this whole situation outwardly. Your actions are loud. Fuck that moving in silence shit. That shit is going with the flow, what everybody else is doing and what everybody else is saying. There is no moving in silence. There is only, I'm out here. It's around this season, you will not be outside in this and think you're walking around silently, because all these leaves is crunch, 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 crunch. You know what I'm saying? So just understand that words are spells and spells are real. You know, I'm pretty sure you done shown people numerous of times that your actions speak extremely loud. Don't look at it as you moving in silent. Look at it as your actions are really loud. Somebody did some witchy shit at work and you used your energy and you transmuted that energy differently to show, all right, look, I'm about to engage with that shit the same way I always do. I'm gonna let my actions speak to show that I'm not gonna engage the same way. I'm not gonna tell you all the time, hey, what you're doing is wrong, and I'm not gonna engage with you this way. You know, eventually in those kind of situations, you get to a space to where it's like, I'm just gonna show you. Why do I want to keep wasting this breath and energy? And what people also have to understand is, like, focus or think about your breathing when you're actually talking and speaking. Like, you're having to use your energy. You're taking short breaths, big breaths, long breaths, slow breaths. You know what I'm saying? All of this plays a factor into how you are giving your energy. You know, so that's what I be getting. Like, I don't want to say I be getting, but I like to reevaluate statements and phrases when it's being done by the majority. And when I say majority, it's because majority of the people who aren't awake and aware is still saying, oh, I'm moving silence, I'm moving silence. And then you got the spiritual beings who are in these places and they have the knowledge and information, but they're still speaking on moving in silence. It's like, how do you move in silence? You're teaching here in front of us. So when you say move in silence, what do you mean move in silence? If y'all have some great answers as far as moving in silence, opposed from what we are discussing right now, let me know down below. Because soon I will start doing live streams. I'm not gonna say when, but they will start soon. I will be doing a lot more live streams, so that way we don't have to tap in below. I can start actually having more engagements and answering questions and, you know, building with the community more in actual real time, you know, their physical real time, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, but put it down below right now. Like, I'm always curious to understand and to view others' perspectives, even if it's something that, you know, I don't agree with, or if they don't agree with me. It's not the end of the world. That just means we had a disagreement. Now, if you're evil and ill and it's a disagreement, then somebody's world is gonna end. That's just how it's gotta go. I don't know how else to be anything other than straightforward. So, and that's even at the hardest level. So you have to check the people that you're also watching too. You know what I'm saying? Like, if they're saying things like move in silence, there's no way you could really do all this work in silence. All it is meaning you're doing it behind closed doors, or you're not doing it in front of them. It's not silent. Even if I got away from somebody and I ran over here and I stopped messaging, talking to them, doing all these things, and I'm just grinding and working, my actions are still loud. It's showing and proving what I'm doing. It's not me moving in silence. So it's counterintuitive to the energy and the vibration you want to put out into the universe. That's like saying your cup is half empty. We half full over here. You know what I'm saying? So you could say, oh, I'm moving in silence. But it's so many other ways to look at that perspective. Or you could say, my actions speak loud. My actions speak loud and clear. You know what I'm saying? That's the best way that I can word that in the most simplified way to put it, is your actions speak loud. You know what I'm saying? Your actions are loud and clear. And when you get to these spaces and you're starting to learn and grow and you taking in this knowledge and information, then you have to also sift through the spiritual knowledge and information that you're also going through, because a lot of this shit, even some over here as well, you go through my shit. I don't ever want nobody to not just go through it and think, oh yeah, well, he said it, so it's okay, and blah blah. Yeah, I want you to question this shit too. You know what I'm saying? Question every piece of it. Don't just let it go floating over here because you want to know if it's valid or not to keep listening and keep feeding yourself the same way. If it's not valid, then you don't want to feed yourself that same food. And if you do, just be aware of it. You know what I'm saying? We go to the store all the time and we get shit that's not beneficial for us, but we do it because we're still having a human experience. So we're allowed to, so we're going to. You know what I'm saying? So your actions speak extremely loud. We are not silent beings. This is what we do. You know what I'm saying? We wouldn't be here and changing and creating this shift if this wasn't our position. You know what I'm saying? So just make sure you tapping in to even the other beings that you're watching and listening to, and being aware of the ones around you who are pretending to grow and say they're spiritually connected and all these other things, but then they're using regular generic information to throw over your head. You know what I'm saying? We are too sharp and we are way too in tune, and we are working on this vibration and this frequency to get it to as high as we need to get it to. You know what I'm saying? How are we going to do better for the next generation if we're still struggling ourselves? If we're going to struggle, let's struggle and make progression through the struggle. You know what I'm saying? But I ain't want to run it up too long. You know what I'm saying? We do not move in silence. Your actions speak extremely loud. You know what I'm saying? Tapping everything down below. Peace and love to the kings and queens.